Hi Libra, welcome to your week ahead Taroscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Libra, it's for you. There's no astrology in these, so check them out for all three so that you understand which part of you I resonate with most as a reader. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So your key to the week, if you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit the subscribe button. So your key to the week this week is the Fool card. New things, new places, people and energies making themselves known in your life, but also a change or an inversion of your reality. The other thing with the Fool card, this to me is kind of like, it's the ultimate skeleton key. The Fool card can open a lot of doors for us, but very often it requires us to go in very different directions or very new directions, ones that we are as yet unaware of. All right, so that is the Fool. All right, and when it comes to your actions and options, you've got the Hanged Man, right? So what this tells me is whatever actions you have planned for this week, you might want to hang back on it, all right? And the reason I say that is because the Hanged Man is awaiting patience and stillness. Effectively, it's a reassessment or reevaluation, all right? And the Fool card can sometimes represent where we are being literally foolish. Because of the way these show up, there's some action, some decision, some direction that you're choosing to take this week. And I have a feeling this is about how you choose to present yourself. In some way, shape or form, you are being urged to put the brakes on that. And maybe it's because right now is not the right time. Maybe it's because whatever you do put forward is going to be misconstrued or misunderstood in some way. So for that reason, I urge you this week, whatever new thing you're planning to put out into the world, you know, whether this is, you know, aesthetic, whether it's professional, academic, whatever the case might be, this is not the week for it. You are actually being asked to hold back. And it does suggest, because of the nature of the cards that are involved here, it's probably because there's some element of this that you're not seeing or needs to be reconfigured in order for it to do or have the effect that you would like it to. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Five of Wands, right? So this is a conflict card, and because you've got it with the Hanged Man here, this does suggest that there's some kind of misunderstanding this week. What you're saying isn't necessarily what they're hearing. What they're hearing is, you know, is not necessarily what you're saying, and vice versa. You might find this week that you know, something potentially erupts or gets a little bit sort of skew with, because there is a misunderstanding here somewhere. So for that reason, I would be very mindful about how you proceed with this, right? In any and all communications, especially where new people are coming in or you're connecting with new places, new people, new organizations, maybe new colleagues, etc. There's a chance here potentially for you to be really misunderstood, and it could end up having some kind of lingering issue moving forward. For those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, this is where you clash with a group. All right, like if you're working on a group project, etc., it may be that you're really serious about it, but you feel like your peers are just not taking it seriously. Now, for those of you that are employed by somebody else, the office water cooler talk is something that you do want to watch out for this week. But more importantly than that, there's a chance for a misunderstanding here. And I gotta say, because the Fool card shows up, I think this is your boss. I think you're going to have, like, something's going to be said and it might seem to them like a throwaway remark, but the way that you receive it might be kind of like, no, you know what, that's not cool, right? But before you go off the deep end and kind of let rip and let them have it, just ask if what you've heard is actually what they meant. All right, and the other way around as well. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, there's a chance here that a client will either, so if you send out emails, if you send out digital products, etc., there's something here that doesn't quite reach the mark. All right, so if a client emails you getting shirty and says like, oh, I've been waiting for this, or da 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 da, it's that they haven't actually received it, and the way that they see it is you haven't sent it, but you actually have. So follow the paper trail or the digital paper trail or whatever the case might be, but watch out for that this week. And also word of mouth, be mindful of the word of mouth that is floating around about your business or you within your business this week, because you might hear something and think, whoa, you know what, that's uncalled for, it's not right, it's not fair, whatever the case might be. And with this, you possibly have to set the record straight. I don't see that happening though. You could head this off at the pass, and by outlining and kind of put it back to whoever it is that gives you this information. You could say to them like, well, while you're saying that, have you ever considered, you know me, or you've worked with me, or you've collaborated with me, or whatever the case might be, have you ever known me to behave in that way? That's probably going to be one of the easiest ways you can stamp it out. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, look, this with the Fool card, it could be that you are trying your hand at something new. Potentially, for some of you, this could be something like aerial silks, or the hoop, or all of that kind of stuff. Even for those of you that aren't, retired, maybe you're working on something like that as well. For your love and relations, you've got the Five of Pentacles. So this is a card of material challenge. And when it comes up here in the love sector, for those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, this could be a challenge or an argument of some sort that erupts due to finances or resources with the significant other. I don't actually think that the problem is that bad. I think the misunderstanding that happens is what's going to cause this, and this is why I say, like, really be very conscious of how you're communicating and the things that you're hearing. Make sure, back it up, ask the question, is this what you mean? Because the chances are, if it's not, whatever, and it erupts, it's going to linger, and it's going to linger for a long time to come. You don't want that kind of energy hanging around. For those of you that are single and looking, look, you can meet someone that rubs you the wrong way, and sometimes those connections are, sometimes they're sexy because they're a meeting of opposites. What happens when fire meets ice, that kind of energy. But to be honest, with this Five of Pentacles, I gotta say, this person may potentially have money problems or may have a health issue. So just be mindful of that. And then you've got the Hierophant card in terms of your money and materials. So this, with the context of the Fool, very, very interesting. This connection here, in one way, right? The Hierophant is the status quo, all the rest of it, but we're talking about your finances. So this is potentially a conversation that happens with a financial institution. If there's money that you need, or a financial institution that you have to connect with, and I will say, if you're partnered, married, or in a long-term commitment and you do need to talk to the bank, etc., please don't let your partner do it this week. Or if you're going to do it, make sure that you guys have a very clear understanding of what your mission or your goal is, because there's a lot of unclear energy in these cards, just because the Hanged Man is so prominent. And I will say, just be mindful. The other thing is the Hierophant is number 5. 5 of Wands, 5 of Pentacles, 3 5s represents determination. So you've got this, and here with the Fool, it's kind of like, like, I walk with purpose. Wherever I go, this is something that my friends actually laugh at with me, right? Like, whatever I do it with purpose. If I'm making a mistake, I make it with the full force of my being. So, when I was on holiday this year, I was walking ahead like I absolutely knew where I was going. I didn't have a fucking clue where I was going, because I'm in a foreign country, right? It's not a place I've ever been before. And they're like, do you know where you're going? I'm like, nope. The way that you're walking would tell us that. This kind of suggests to me that determination might be foolish this week. You might have a, no, this is the way that I'm going, it's got to happen like this, and it's like you're going in the complete wrong direction. Just be mindful. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, this opposite the Five of Pentacles, that's potentially a trip to the hospital due to some kind of slip, trip or fall. A touch wood, I hope I'm wrong on that front, but please, please, please look after your physical body this week. And the thing is, because the Five of Pentacles is in the love sector, it probably won't be you that you're visiting the hospital for. It will be a loved one. It doesn't look to be death or anything like that, but it does look like a slip, trip, fall, sprain, break, you know, all of that kind of gnarly stuff. And then finally, when it comes to your home and environment, this could be that you're having to interact with with a local authority of some sort. And this with the Hanged Man, it does suggest to me that there's some weirdness going on in your local environment, and there's an investigation of some sort pending. It will be interesting to see how this shows up, but don't be surprised if you're hearing from things like Neighbourhood Watch, local authorities, governments. Maybe they're sending out pamphlets and stuff about certain things that are taking place. Just be mindful about how much of this you digest. All right, with that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.